Welcome back to Awakening the Inner Avatar. I just want to express that I am so excited to be back. I'm very excited to be back here with you guys. And today we're going to get back into Avatar: The Last Airbender, Book 2. So today we enter one of the most emotional and symbolic chapters of Book 2. And it's about a journey, not just across a dangerous path, but through fear, grief, and the courage it takes to keep going when your heart is heavy. And so the name of the episode today is The Serpent's Pass. It's about a story about letting go of false hope, holding on to real hope, and learning that sometimes the only way forward is forward. Because we all carry moments where life feels too heavy to face. And this episode gently reminds us we don't have to be fearless to move ahead. We just have to take the next step. So let's begin to unpack this episode. The episode opens up with the group trying to have a moment of play. So keep in mind that this is after Appa has been taken. And so everybody's just trying to keep moving forward and keep everything light. Aang floats along the river. Katara jumps in with a waterbending ball. And the others watch, trying to enjoy something, anything, after the loss of Appa. But beneath the laughter, something is different. Aang isn't light anymore, and he's trying to be okay, trying to focus on the mission, trying to keep moving. Because if he stops, he'll feel the pain of losing Appa. Sokka spreads their ancient maps out. This is their last hope to reach Ba Sing Se. He finds a thin, dangerous route carved along the edge of the world. The Serpent's Pass. A place people whisper about, avoid, and fear. Aang agrees anyway, not because he's brave, but because he can't bear to stay still long enough to feel. Arriving at Full Moon Bay feels chaotic, loud, crowded, a mirror of the inner chaos each character is carrying. Refugees stand in long lines. Families are separated. People clutch passports with shaking hands. And then they run into a family, the mother pregnant, the father anxious. The timing, tight. They need to get to Ba Sing Se before the baby comes. The ferry seems like the safer choice until the gang realizes they don't have passports. Toph solves it with her noble Beifong status. But the refugee family, their belongings have been stolen. And Aang, still hurting, still trying, steps in. If hope won't open the door, then effort will. He decides they will take the Serpent's Pass together. This is the moment Aang shifts. The moment Katara sees the deeper hurt he's carrying. The moment we realize this isn't about a path on a map. It's about a boy trying not to drown in his own grief. At the entrance of the pass sits the inscription, "Abandon all hope." The pregnant woman gasps. "We can't abandon hope," she says. "It's all we have." But Aang says something we've never heard from him. Hope is just a distraction. Hope won't get us to Ba Sing Se. Hope won't find Appa. This is grief speaking. This is the shutdown after loss. This is Aang trying to protect himself from disappointment. Katara sees it. Sokka hears it. Even Toph feels it through the earth. Aang has lost more than a friend. He's lost his source of emotional grounding. But Katara doesn't push him. She stays close, steady, quiet. Because sometimes the most healing thing we can offer is presence, not answers. As they walk the path, Suki joins them, strong, sharp, and warm. Sokka panics, hovering around her with overprotective energy. She jokes, but his fear is real. Finally, she asks Sokka, "Why won't you let me take care of myself?" And the truth breaks out of him. "I lost someone at the North Pole, and I don't want to lose you too." It's one of Sokka's most vulnerable moments. A reminder that being the strong one doesn't mean we don't break. Suki listens, really listens. And for the first time since Yue's death, Sokka lets someone close. That night, Aang stares out at the water, pain swirling around him. Katara joins him gently. He tells her about the desert, about the rage, the helplessness, how he hated what he felt. Katara places a hand on him, grounding him the way she always does. She tells him, "It hurts more to hope, but please don't stop caring." This is the moment Aang begins to soften, just a little, enough to let some light back in. The next day, the group hits a dead end. The path is broken, sunken beneath the water. Katara takes charge instantly. A water bubble, a walk beneath the lake, a moment of control in a place full of uncertainty. Until something massive swims by. The Serpent. Aang fights, Katara fights. The team rescues each other. But the real moment arrives after, when Ying goes into labor. Chaos turns into urgency. Fear turns into purpose. And the group, each of them, steps into a role of support, care, and calm. A baby is born, hope itself, wrapped in blankets. Aang cries. He lets himself feel again. He lets love back in. And they name the baby Hope. Because sometimes the world gives back what we think we've lost. Let's take a breath. This episode is rich with emotional wisdom. Here are 3 reflections to carry with us. Aang believed shutting down would protect him, but love returned the moment he allowed himself to feel again. Now let's ask ourselves, where have we closed our hearts because we are afraid to hurt again? Now, for me, there have been many moments that I have closed my heart because I'm afraid of the pain of hurting again. But that should never stop us from continuing to move forward with an open heart. Something that's helped me is this affirmation, which we can repeat to ourselves now. I open my heart gently at my own pace. That's basically to say there's no rush. There's no rush to open our hearts again, but that's not to say that we'll never open our hearts again to feel anything. That's just to say that we move at our own pace. We do things at our own pace, and that's perfectly fine. There's no rush. That's okay. The serpent's pass isn't conquered by courage, but by taking the next step. Now ask yourself, or let's ask ourselves, what hard path are we avoiding, even though we know it's the way forward? This is one of these hard questions that sometimes is even more difficult to answer. But ultimately, we always have the answer. So if you are going through a moment, through a time right now, where you are finding it difficult to move forward on something because you're afraid of anything, whether that's failure or not being worthy or not being good enough, I completely understand because I've been there myself. But the fact of the matter is, something I've realized is that I'm never really gonna know if I'm going to fail or if I'm worthy or not, or if I'm good enough until I actually move forward. So another affirmation that helps me, especially when I'm going through these difficult times, is, and I'm going to repeat it right now so that we can all repeat it. I trust myself to take the next step. Notice I'm not saying to take all the steps. Sometimes it's helpful to take a step. Taking a step, one step, is progress. Remember, we're not in a rush here. Everybody, including myself, we all go through life at our own pace. So there is no rush. This is your life. Sokka's fear, Aang's grief, Katara's steady presence. Healing happens when we're honest about what hurts. Now let's ask ourselves, who can we be more honest with about what we are carrying? So this one would mean that you would have to lean on somebody, someone who you trust, someone who you can really talk to. And if that doesn't exist in your life, then you can also always write yourself a letter. You can write yourself a letter just purging and talking about what's really going on in your life. What is this heaviness that you're carrying? I would say write it out and then just read it. Because sometimes we just really need to be honest with ourselves. But if we do have that special someone, whether it's a friend or a family member or a partner who you can really be honest with and talk to about anything and everything, then, and if you feel comfortable, feel free to do that. That way you can have that. You can have that space to do that. You know, if that person creates a space for you to do that, then do that, because that is actually helpful to just get it out of your chest type of thing. And also an affirmation that can help during this point, and you can repeat it after me. My vulnerability is a bridge, not a weakness. And that's something that we need to remember, because in this world, sometimes what's taught is that, you know, being vulnerable is a weakness, and that's not true at all. Being vulnerable is strength. Being able to talk about what's going on, and even if all you want to do is talk about it, you don't want anyone to fix it, you just want to feel supported, that's not a weakness. Asking for help is not a weakness. It's strength. And we need to learn that again. We need to remember that. It's something to remember. So, yeah. The Serpent's Pass teaches us that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the willingness to keep going even when fear is loud. It reminds us that shutting down may feel safer, but opening our hearts is what brings healing. And it shows us that hope isn't soft or naive. Hope is a choice, a strength, a lifeline. Thank you for walking this path with me today. And until next time, take your next step gently. Stay open to the unexpected. And remember, you never walk your journey alone. There's always someone there that's experiencing life like you are, or that can help. There's always going to be someone there who can help and support no matter what. This is Awakening the Inner Avatar. This podcast is a fan-created project intended for educational and spiritual reflection. All clips, references, and content related to Avatar, The Last Airbender, Star Wars, Rebels, and other media are used under fair use for commentary, analysis, and transformative discussion. All rights to original shows, characters, and music belong to their respective creators and copyright holders.